All right. Good morning, everyone. I have 11 o'clock, so let's go ahead and get started. My name is Mike Dutter. I'm a meteorologist here at the Weather Service in Wakefield and give a short briefing on this coming week's weather. Overall, it looks like a pretty quiet week weather-wise, relatively speaking. There's a fairly strong cold front that will be moving through midweek, Wednesday night into Thursday morning. Ahead of the front, it will certainly become breezy or even windy on Wednesday. Gusts over land as high as 35 to 40 miles an hour, especially on Wednesday out of the southwest. And those temperatures or those southerly winds will allow for temperatures to warm to well above normal for Tuesday and especially Wednesday. In fact, Wednesday is going to be well into the 70s most areas. So a nice early spring-like weather for us here coming up. However, with that cold front, there are some isolated scattered showers are possible, especially starting later today and tonight, but continuing through tomorrow and Wednesday before the more widespread rain comes into the region ahead of the front later Wednesday into Wednesday night. And over our coastal regions, we're certainly with that strong southerly winds or gusts to high as 25 to 30 knots are expected tomorrow. And then gales up to 40 knots are expected over the open ocean on Wednesday with strong small craft advisory to maybe some low end gales in the 30 to 35 knot gust range expected in the bay and the rivers. And with that cold front coming through, the winds turn northwesterly. And again, there could be a brief gust to gale force behind that, but the wind should subside on Thursday. So here's the week weather pattern for this week. Again, we have the southerly flow developing this low pressure system over the Great Lakes. Or the northern plains. That's going to move into the Great Lakes by Wednesday morning and intensify. And you can see this broad swath of rain that's going to be moving towards us along this cold front. And again, with that, the stronger pressure gradient, you're going to see those southerly winds develop and really increase on Wednesday. Again, with those windy conditions expected. After the cold front, though, high pressure builds in. Thursday and Friday should be dry. And then for the weekend, there's still a lot of uncertainty. There could be some type of a coastal low or coastal trough developing. Could be some isolated showers or light rain for the weekend. We'll see, but it certainly is going to be colder from Thursday, especially Thursday and Friday, and into the weekend as well. So first of all, here's the expected rainfall for the next 3 days. This goes through Thursday morning. Most places see a quarter to half of an inch of rain, nothing too heavy. Most of this rain will occur late Wednesday into Wednesday night with the passage of the cold front. One thing to note, though, this is a sort of climatological note. At Richmond, the airport there, our climate site at the airport, we've had 16.62 inches of rain this winter so far. So meteorological winter goes from December 1st through this year, February 29th. The all-time record for winter is 16.64, set in 1936 and 1937. So if over the next couple of days before February 29th, we see 0.22 inches of rain at Richmond, this winter will be the wettest winter on record for Richmond. So just an interesting tidbit. It has been a very wet winter in parts of the area, not the entire area though, but certainly in central Virginia, it's been very wet. Here's the forecast precipitation for the next 7 days. Again, once you get beyond Wednesday, there's not too much more precip expected, at least across central and eastern Virginia and into northeast North Carolina and the Maryland Eastern Shore. So once you get through this midweek system, there might be, again, some scattered showers this coming weekend, but nothing too significant on the rainfall front. The big thing will be, again, as I talked about, would be the wind. This is the max wind gust through the next 3 days through 7 p.m. on Thursday. And Again, seeing a lot of winds of 35 to 40 miles an hour. Again, these are gusts, and these will be out of the south-southwest. And again, these will likely be strongest on Wednesday, where these wind gusts will occur. But again, even tomorrow, we could see gusts up to 30 knots. So certainly there could be some issues, with lawn furniture or any loose outdoor items, high-profile vehicles. So just be prepared for that. Again, those are out of the south, going to be out of the south to the southwest. And again, you can see this on our high wind potential for the next 5 days. Notice that it really focuses in on Wednesday, a little bit on Tuesday, especially close to the coast, but everywhere on Wednesday. So certainly some 30 to 40 mile an hour. You might be able to get some 40 to even to 45 mile an hour winds close to the coast on Wednesday. So stay tuned for that. If it gets that high, we might need to have a wind advisory out for Wednesday, but we're going to take a closer look at that for the in later forecasts. Just a quick regional forecast summary. Again, notice this is the maximum temperature, the minimum temperature, and then the probability of precipitation. Notice that, again, this dramatic warm up through Wednesday, with much of the area, with the exception of the eastern shore and right near the coast, being into the 70s, low temperature. And then notice this drastic decrease in temperature to below normal, actually, on Thursday and Friday, then recovering to close to normal for the weekend. Meanwhile, our probability of precipitation forecast, again, notice there's just small chances tomorrow, 30 to 50%, ramping up again to 70 to 80% for Wednesday. And again, this would be late, especially late Wednesday into Wednesday evening. And then these probabilities on Thursday, that would just be in the early morning hours. Again, by Thursday afternoon, we should be dry. And then just isolated low probability of precipitation for the weekend. It could rain, so there's still a lot of uncertainty for that as well. Now for our marine winds, our marine partners, again, this for the next couple days, but we have a high probability of wind gusts of exceeding 25 knots. And over the coastal waters, at least, we have high probabilities of gale force gusts. Again, it's going to be, right now, the worst of the gusts look to be over the northern half of the coastal waters, but pretty much anywhere in the coastal waters could see, at least the Atlantic waters, could see gusts to above gale force, or expected to see gusts above gale force. Especially in the Southern Bay and the James River, I wouldn't be shocked if there's some gusts to gale force. On Wednesday with that southerly wind, a lot of times we see that. So that's why you're seeing some of these low probabilities sneak in. But be prepared, even though we're not necessarily showing it, there could be some gusts again to 35 knots in the lower bay on Wednesday afternoon as well from the south. Our threat potential for marine areas, again, highlighting that Wednesday time period. This purple up here is for seas. It's not for the wind gust to 48 knots. We're going to have some, with those southerly to southwesterly winds, we're going to have some pretty high sea conditions over the northern coastal waters, up to 12 feet or maybe even higher just offshore. But many waves, 7 to 10 feet across much of the coastal, Atlantic coastal waters. Again, by in the bay, again, we're expecting elevated conditions, but again, wouldn't be shocked to see some gusts to 34, 35 knots in the bay, on at least, especially the lower bay on Thursday or Wednesday morning. Here's the actual maximum wind gust forecast. Again, we're sort of approaching a threshold, 33 knots, so we're close to gale force gusts, but certainly over the open ocean, we're getting well into gale force. And again, notice these seas, 7 to 10 feet, maybe 12 feet offshore of Ocean City. In the bay, 4 to 5 feet. And here is our marine forecast summary through Thursday. Again, notice that these are the maximum wind gusts. Notice these south to southwesterly winds, again, increasing through the day on Wednesday, and then abruptly turning westerly and northwesterly later Wednesday night into Thursday morning. But notice how they are expected to rapidly drop through the day. So again, it's going to be a windy, 36 hours or so, but it should drop off pretty rapidly on Wednesday, or excuse me, on Thursday. And then notice the seas again, these, especially the open ocean, seeing the seas rise up to 7 to 10, maybe even 12 feet well offshore on Wednesday, and then subsiding pretty rapidly again during the day on Thursday. And just looking ahead for the next few days, or next week, continue that trend for above normal temperatures, and at least slightly, favoring above normal precipitation. Looks like the pattern is going to be conducive for continued storms coming out of the south and along the southern stream, and continuing to give us chances for precipitation next week as well. And again, and everything sort of is pointing towards the next week being above normal temperature wise right now. And our highs, we're starting to creep back up, and our normal highs are generally in the mid to upper 50s across the region. So with that in mind, we could be certainly expecting some temperatures into the 60s next week again as well. Maybe not all week, but certainly for a good portion of the week. And so that's all I have. Let's see, I'm gonna take some look at these. I have a couple questions, I believe. Let me zoom out here. One question I had was, when do you think this timing of the winds starting on Tuesday for Central Virginia? That's a great question. Let's go back to the. I don't have a wind gust slide, unfortunately, but what I can say is that I think this is the marine side, but I don't have a graphic like this for the inlet areas. But I can say that these wind gusts will start, during the mornings on Tuesday and continue to increase through the day. With the afternoon heating, that's normally what we see. They may decrease some overnight on Wednesday, but then they pick up right again right off the bat on Wednesday morning as well. So again, Wednesday morning is sort of the core, Wednesday during the day is sort of with the core of the strongest winds. But again, gusty winds are certainly possible, from late morning tomorrow through tomorrow afternoon as well, but just not as strong as Wednesday. See if I have any other questions here. No, I don't see any other questions at this time. So there are no other questions. One thing I'd like to mention, that if you go to the handout section of your GoToWebinar GUI, you'll see that we have the latest, that is the latest handout, the latest briefing that I just showed you. So you're welcome to download that and have that as well. But with that, I think I will, if I don't have any other questions, and I don't see that I do, thank you so much for joining, everyone, and have a great day. Thank you so much.